Hello and welcome to my arty update. This is just a little brief summary of everything I've been making, drawing, doing over the month of October. It's been quite a busy month for me, but yeah, let's get started with my sketchbook progress. So sketchbook 13, I finished it. I had literally just finished it yesterday and what a relief. And yes, note to self, never to buy another Shaw and Marsh sketchbook ever again. I left you here on page 47, and yeah, it's taken me a month to get through just 13 pages of this sketchbook, mostly because there's been an awful lot of wedding prep going on. The wedding has now happened, yay, and more on that later on in the video. But for now, I think I'll just show you this sketchbook and all the other artwork that I've been doing. I wanted to do something quite simple, so I thought I'd do some leaves again. I was playing around with some different ideas for the leaves where you're just using lines and a light colour behind. And it's quite simple, but I really enjoyed that, so I did another one. And I tried to focus a little bit more about adding different types of leaves and playing around with different ways I could decorate the leaves with different lines and dots and shading. Yeah, I quite like that one. It's not quite as bold as I would like it. I think I need some bigger leaves in the middle, but that might be something that I develop later, along with all the other things, I suppose. Then we went back to some straight neurographic art. These were very simple. I literally just drew 2 or 3 lines across the page, added some circles and added some patterns. These were so effective. I really enjoyed doing those. I did do a similar one of these for a full process video. I don't know if I've published it yet. I probably have. My brain is a bit addled today, but more on that later as well. I did a slightly more complicated one here. I was playing around with some new patterns and shapes and things, just putting them down in different ways on the page, and I think that's worked out fairly well as an exploratory page. But I did enjoy these lines here, so I tried to do a whole page of them, and yeah, I haven't quite got to grips with that yet, but I'm not going to give up. I really like this kind of flowy line thing that you see. Yeah, I will do some more of those at some point. So I was still kind of just playing around with some simple neurographic lines, 3 or 4 lines across the page and some circles and adding some patterns. I was drawing on the things that I liked in the previous pages, and just trying to work them in the sketchbook. Now for a lot of these next few drawings, I'm just using felt tip pens because I was resting in bed. I was resting on the run up to the wedding and I was resting after the wedding, so all I had to hand was my felt tip pens by the side of my bed, and they're perfectly fine for just adding some colour down, but my colours were fairly limited. So this style of pattern here I'd done on a previous page and I really liked it, and I wanted to try and connect them up a little bit, and I did quite like that one, and I did do a similar as a full process video as well. I'll show you that later. And again, I was playing with these kind of lines and curvy patterns just to see what I could come up with. It had a very underwater feel, that one. This one was an extension of some of the patterns on the previous pages as well, and I have done similar of one of these for a full process as well. I think this one worked out better than the one I did for the full process video. I will pop all of the links in the video description for all of those videos if you haven't seen them yet and would like to. And then I just went Zentangly on this one. I just drew some leaves and wanted to fill up all the space with lots of different types of foliage, and yeah, I just used my felt tip pen and a gel pen and it was a lot of fun to do. It's not much to look at, it's quite busy, there's no real focus, but sometimes doing these pages is really worthwhile because it gives you the opportunity to experiment with new shapes and patterns. And I love these mushrooms, and you'll see more of those on the last few pages of the sketchbook. Straight neurographic art, again, because it's easy, and after doing a complicated page like that, something easy is always good. And then I went back to the mushrooms for the last 3 pages in this sketchbook. Now, this sketchbook was supposed to have 60 pages. I got 61. Some would call that a bonus, and I have in the past, but not with this paper. Ugh. Anyway, the last 3 pages I've been focusing on these mushrooms and just playing around with having like a woodland scene. Improving on them every time. I like this kind of pattern here. I love this mushroom here, and I love this kind of pattern in the background, these kind of swirly leaves and the little pebbles along the bottom as well. And this was the last page. So I've got a new sketchbook to start, and it's this one. I have been all around Hobbycraft and I can't find a reasonably priced sketchbook just for scribbling in. I don't see the point in buying a really expensive sketchbook just for throwing ideas down on the page. I like to use better quality paper for my full drawings, but for sketching, I don't need to have an expensive sketchbook. So these Shore and Marsh ones were very good value. You got 60 pages for about £8, and that was really great. But the paper, they've changed the paper and it's awful, so I'm refusing to buy that again. I did pick up this one from the range. It's a Wilko brand one. It cost me about £3 and it's got 50 pages. It says 100, but it means 100 sides. It's actually only got 50 pages. I don't know what this paper is going to be like. It's quite thick and it says it's 160 GSM, which should be the same as the Shore and Marsh one. But I will try it out because for £3, if that will do the purpose, then that's totally fine. I don't need to go and buy an expensive one. But unfortunately, if you don't buy the Shore and Marsh ones in Hobbycraft, you're tied to buying a really expensive one. The only downside is I like to work landscape and I like the spiral bound, because if I'm working on the sofa or I'm sat in bed drawing, the spiral bounds are really, really good. So I will be using this landscape and I will be using it this way, and yeah, we'll see how I get on with that one. But for £3, I can't really complain if the paper's no better. Right, so other bits and pieces that I've been doing. Well, I have a couple of finished reject pages. I've shown you little clips, but I haven't really talked about it. Because what happens is I have a pile on my desk of works in progress, and I dip in and out of it when I choose. And I forget where I am at in my progress, and I forget which ones I've shown you and which ones I haven't and which ones I've worked on. So I'm going to be a bit more organised now and try and show you. So this was a reject page that I have finished, and this was a reject page that I've given up on. Yeah, so what happens is, let me just show you. Sometimes when I'm drawing, and I have explained this many months ago, but sometimes when I'm drawing I make a mistake. So like for example this one that I drew several months ago, I smudged all the work and I wasn't very happy with it. So I wasn't going to finish off the whole drawing as a complete picture. However, I put it on my reject pile and it's one that I come back to. However, I put it on my reject pile with the intention that I'll come back to it and rework it at some point, just for my own amusement. I have a few others that are in the reject pile, which I'm going to show you today as well. There was this one. Here I had an error with the marker pen. I think it was running out, and then I went to try and touch it up and it just looked awful. So that's on my rework pile as well. There was this one, which is from months and months and months ago, probably even a year ago, and I tried using a different black marker pen on this line, and you can see it's so much thicker. So I've put that on my rework rejects pile as well. Then there was this one, which was probably last year as well, Again, I had issues with the marker pen. I've since, you know, started using better marker pens, so I shouldn't be having these problems anymore, unless it's user error. And a couple of reject pages. Let me see. And this reject page I have done a little bit of work on, but this was from the watercolour brush pens. So this one was from the watercolour brush pens review that I did, again, about a year ago, almost a year ago anyway. And it was on a horrid paper, and I didn't like the way the marker pen was working on this watercolour paper. But yeah, it's on the rework pile as well. So all of these are on the reject rework pile. These ones are as well, but these ones I have started doing a little bit of work on. So this one was on the coffee cup paper, and the gel pens don't work on it, plus I smudged it and I'd given up all hope on it. So that's on the rework pile. This one I think, oh yeah, so this one I was testing out the Daler Rowney inks and seeing how they diffused on the page. I am putting together a review of those inks, so you'll see me work on these experiments on that. But yeah, I'm just reworking it and trying out some different shapes and patterns and some familiar shapes and patterns. This one is also on the rework pile. I was playing around months and months ago with some acrylic paint and seeing if I could splodge paint on in circles for a Zentangle picture. I didn't like the colours, I didn't like it at all, but that is on the rework pile too. So I will try to remember to show you my progress on all of the rework pictures throughout the month. I also have a selection of pictures to show you that I have been working on as, oh wait, let me see now. These are all reworks as well. Yeah. Okay, so other completed reworks this month, because I have been, as I said, spending a lot of time resting, so it's a great time for me to pull out the rework pages and see what I can do with them. So this was on my reject pile months ago, and this is what's happened. And this one was also a reject, and on this one I wasn't really trying to aim for a full finished picture. I was trying out different colours. I tried black and the crimson and gold and crimson and yellow and crimson. Just, yeah, it's not a great picture, but I was just having a play around with the shapes and patterns really. This one is another reject from the Daler Rowney ink experiments. I didn't know what to do, so I just did some straight neurographic art on it. Don't love it, but you know, it passes the time and it also relaxes me and helps me unwind. So it's never really, even when a picture doesn't go right, it's never really a failure if it's helped me relax, right? And again, this one was a pattern here that I'd been working on several months ago again, and the page had been on the rework pile, and so yeah, I just reworked it, and yeah, thoroughly relaxing, not much to write home about. Other pictures that I've been doing, well, I have done a few full process videos for you. Some of these you will have already seen as I've posted them up, but some of them will be coming in future weeks. I had a major smudge on this one at the end. I was so annoyed, but I think I kept it in anyway. Some of these you'll recognise from my sketchbook that I've just shown you. They're just patterns that I've developed a little bit further and recorded them as full process videos. So whilst I haven't done an awful lot in my sketchbook, you can see I've done quite a lot out of my sketchbook this month. This one was from my last Let's Doodle that I did, where I was just showing you some really super easy ways to just make your neurographic pictures just that little bit more interesting. So there was a few of those I did, and again, if you haven't seen that video, I will put that up in the video description. And I also had a few rejects from that video as well that I didn't end up showing you. Well, this one wasn't strictly a reject. This one was one that I didn't really have space to put in because the video was an hour long already. So I was using some ink diffusion technique. So I figured I'd do the ink diffusion technique as a whole new video in itself. So that one didn't meet the cut. This one didn't quite meet the cut either because I forgot to video halfway through, so half of the clip was missing, so that didn't happen. And the same thing happened with this one as well. I had been dealing with quite a lot of fatigue on the run up, so you know, when I am dealing with fatigue I do forget to do things, and I do try to concentrate, but it doesn't always happen. I get so engrossed in the drawing of it, and I find the drawing of it just so relaxing that I forget that I'm filming. And this one would have made the cut, but I, for some reason, completely forgot to add it to the video. So yeah, we'll look at those patterns another time. I should also show you some of the other work in progress that I'm working on as well. Oh gosh, we've got another reject page here. I've got a lot of stuff, and I've literally just been sorting out all of my artwork so that I know where I'm at. A lot of these are from my Daler Rowney ink experiment video. I have done a review of these inks and I will be publishing that shortly, but I haven't finished this drawing. It's going to go on my rework pile, but yeah, a lot of these drawings I'm going to show you now are from the Daler Rowney ink experiments, and some of them I might even end up putting as full process videos when they're done. So this one was another one where I was trying to play around with the ink diffusion. It hasn't worked out very well. I'm trying to rework it to make it something better. This one is very abstract, isn't it? Let me get it on the screen. I've been trying out with my stencils to see if I could get some stencils over the top. I'm not sure where it's going really, but it might go somewhere. Oh, this one was quite a collagey one. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I've got tissue paper and dyed tissue paper and acrylic ink on top and shapes. I'm just having a play with it. I'm just having a play to see where it can go. Again, another one from the Daler Rowney ink experiments. They don't look like much now. I'm hoping I can turn them around. So I will be spending the next month or two working on these drawings just to see what I can do with them, how far I can take them, and yeah, so watch this space. I have definitely organised my desk now and I know where I'm at. I've got these ones to work through and I've got these ones to work through and a brand new sketchbook, so that's all good. So that is everything I have been drawing. I finished off the clay hearts and I've also finished off the video to show you how to make your own air dry clay fridge magnets. I'll also be putting together a video on how to make the enamelled hanging hearts as well, because they did work out quite lovely in the end. And aside from that, before the wedding I was making lots and lots of wedding favours. I had a lot of ribbons and things left over, so I decided to make some little rose ones to give out to the guests as wedding favours. And if you want to know how to make these book roses, I have got a tutorial up already that I posted. The only thing I haven't explained is how to decorate them, but it's really not difficult. You just wind some ribbon and you decorate them with a bit of ribbon at the top as well, and they all worked out really lovely. So the wedding itself was very special. I only have one daughter and it was, yeah, wonderful, emotional, The flowers looked amazing, even if I do say so myself, and it was the first time I'd ever seen my own flowers at a wedding. I have made hundreds and hundreds of flowers for weddings over the last 10 years, but I've never actually got to see them myself at a wedding, so it was very special. Her arrangement looked fantastic. The bridesmaids' arrangements looked fantastic. With hindsight, I would have made the table arrangements a bit bigger, but I didn't really know how big the tables were, so I had no clue to start with. But they still looked lovely. And the wedding favours, the hearts and the roses, went down a treat. So it was a wonderful day. I really enjoyed it, and you know, I've got so many wonderful memories, but now it's done and I am absolutely exhausted. I have spent a week with early nights and every afternoon being sat in bed. So yeah, it's been horrible, but I'm on the mend now, so that's really good. So I'm looking forward to the next month, and hopefully I will get a bit more of the glass painting done. I've got a couple of other videos in the pipeline as well. I'm also hoping to put together a video for Zentangling your own Christmas cards and gift cards, which is something that I did last year for myself, and I thought it would be fun to share it as a video as well. So yeah, I apologise if this month it has been a little bit garbled. I am still recovering, but I made it through. I really hope that you've all had a fantastic month yourselves. The winter's coming now, the nights are drawing in, and we're all starting to think a little bit about Christmas, aren't we? So I thought it would be fun to put together a few videos, Christmas themed, in the run up over the month of November and early December, just making some nice little things for Christmas. And yeah, do give me a thumbs up if you've made it this far. Your support is very much appreciated. And thank you for your support on all my videos as well. That is very much appreciated. I don't get a lot of views, but those of you that do watch are all liking it, so that's fabulous. I'm really grateful for that, very much so. And yeah, so until then, enjoy your pumpkin spice lattes and the autumn leaves falling, and I'll catch up with you at the beginning of December when we're all thinking about putting our Christmas trees up and having hot water bottles to snuggle up to. Until then, I do hope you enjoy the rest of my videos that are coming out through the month.